Now we have audio.
We are live.
We're live again. Welcome back to the Xhale podcast. We had just started a podcast and probably 15 minutes into it?
Easy.
We realized we had no audio. Thanks to our 3 viewers out there for letting us know.
No, so the first thing I said to Eric was, thank goodness that someone's watching to let us know how bad we suck. So
Shout out Mahaffey, shout out Scott, shout out PJ.
Thank you, fellas.
Our 3 diehards.
Thank you, fellas.
Oh, man. All right. Let us know if we have any other issues. But without further ado, we're going to get straight back into it. We want to thank our sponsors. Thank our sponsors, Ballast Freediving. They make some awesome gear. Check them out at one of our other sponsors, Florida Freedivers. You can find them in North Palm Beach off of North Lake Boulevard. They're an awesome shop. Check them out. And Teach Me to Freedive. They also have some great FII-sanctioned freediving courses. Be sure to check them out on Instagram at Teach Me to Freedive, or you can take one of their courses at Florida Freedivers as well. So, without
That's
going
good
on.
stuff. So basically, if you could read lips, you would know that Eric and I were kind of recapping our summer earlier, and we were stoked to take that epic summer season into a winter season, and we started talking about what we were going to do for winter diving, what our plans were, how we kind of adjust things and get it going for winter. And we decided to, let's shut up, wait till the mics are on, and then we'll finish the conversation.
Here we go. We just sat down to a nice dinner date too, you know. That's where it really got started.
Little dinner date. It was good. Park Avenue. I'm gonna be burping up some Adam and Eve all day, all night at least.
So, really what we were talking about is just because wintertime is coming around doesn't mean diving season is over, man. People think that, you know, wintertime, cold weather, don't want to get in the water. I mean, strap that 3 mil suit on that you've been sitting on for the past however many months summer is.
5 months.
Get in there, go shoot some cobia, get out there, go shoot some wahoo. This is the time of year that they're coming through.
Grouper too, man. The grouper have been thick out there recently.
Yeah, definitely you can catch them. Make sure to catch them before the season closes.
Yeah.
When does season close?
We can go to myfwc.com, check that out.
All right, I'm on it.
All right, but you had a good point. Strapping on that 3 mil suit, so that's a spot to start. A lot of people think that, hey, I'm just gonna tough it out and I'm gonna. It's not that cold. This is Florida. It's not gonna be that cold. It's cold enough, you know. Even let's say your boat sinks and you're treading water for a couple days. The number one fear, as far as like life expectancy goes, is hypothermia. Even in like 85-degree water in the middle of summer, and if you're drifting in the Gulf Stream, people die of hypothermia. You need some sort of exposure protection. If you want to be successful at spearfishing, you need to put time in the water. The only way to do that is with a wetsuit on.
December 31st.
December 31st, so there you go.
Got plenty of time.
Got plenty of time.
Let it rip.
Yep. Yeah, so as far as wetsuits go, there's a bunch of different options. So you can do that ratty old back zip like spring suit that you've had since you were 12. Got neon on the arms, pink on the butt.
So, I'm all for the color scheme. Let me get that. Let me say that right now.
I can tell by the hat.
Oh, shout out Florida Freedivers. That new floral print. Check them out.
There you go.
Looking fire.
Little blue steel right there.
Looking tropical.
Nice.
Troppy floral.
Yeah. There you go. I would rock a wetsuit in that. I don't know about
Dude.
the 90s print, but that'd be fire right there.
I could get behind that movement.
Absolutely. I want like a mossy oak, like a woodlands camo. Bottomland.
What
Maybe
about,
that
like,
old school bottomland?
What about duck camo?
I could do duck.
All right,
camo.
leave it in the comments right now. Whether you're live, lost video. Oh my God, bro.
No, Eric.
Bro. Whatever. They could hear it the whole time. We just lost video. But video's back now. So,
Nice.
man, I think you already said it. This is why we need a permanent location. Setting up every time is just not working.
Nope.
And we're learning still, but we've done it enough times. We should be out of these problems. Anyway, thank you guys for sticking in, hanging in there with us. Let us know right now, whether you're live or whether you're watching it afterwards, what camo pattern are you trying to rock on your wetsuit? And I'm not talking ocean blue camo. Nah, we're past that. We're beyond that. we're better than that
beyond
now.
that.
What kind of wacky camo pattern are you trying to rock? PJ, I know you're trying to do some weird stuff.
There you go. I've seen that sea. Have you seen that sea snake? It's like zebra stripe, but it's supposed to make sharks afraid of you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not.
You've seen it on a wetsuit?
Yeah, they make sea snake wetsuits, so it's just like broad black and white bands.
Yeah, because that's what a shark is looking for, is a human-sized sea snake.
Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest goddamn sea snake I've ever seen. Now I think regular camo, but well, I mean, we're talking about wetsuit camos. We can just cover that. I think wetsuit camos. If you want to be sponsored, if you want to be Instagram famous, you gotta have a camo wetsuit.
You gotta have a camo wetsuit.
Dude, those things freaking look cool.
How else?
What else sets you apart?
I was gonna say, how else are you gonna look cool?
Yeah. You don't want to look like a scuba diver.
No.
You want to be a free diver. You need a cool camo wetsuit.
You ever seen?
Not even a free diver, spear fisherman.
You ever seen that? It's a surfing wetsuit. I don't know who makes it because I'm not really like caught up in that scene. But it's all boobies.
Just a bunch of boobies.
Just solid boobies. The entire wetsuit.
That's a lot of boobies. Some heavy nip. That and a set of divars, you're good to go.
Perfect. Yeah. You got to get the new mermaid divars though, the full mermaid.
Oh,
just like
both nips. Yeah, there you go. Color nips. Yeah, but basically what I was saying is, I think the camo looks cool. There's no doubt about that. Is it effective?
Scott says he was looking for a digi camo. Florida Freedivers has a blue digi camo. It's not like a tan digi camo, but a tan digi camo, or even a green.
I like tan.
Like woodland green.
I think tan around here.
Tan would be cool.
Tan would be cool.
I'm going for the floral print though. I like that idea. This print right here, this print on a wetsuit would be fire.
I want tiger camo. That
Tiger.
Vietnam Special Forces tiger camo.
Kevin wants a black camo. Man, we're way past that.
That's out there. Go buy
Way
it.
past that. Yeah, get out of here.
We had you on the podcast, Kevin.
We had you as a guest, and you're pulling out stuff like that. Come on now.
Yeah, something wild. You need something wild. Leopard.
Leopard would be cool.
Leopard would be cool.
We're way off topic.
Yeah. So I think leopard would be about as effective as blue. Camo.
Yeah.
As any other camo.
And reef camo, whatever you want.
I don't think that they're very effective when it comes to spearfishing, and I think it's very similar to hunting on land. So it was just bow season just ended. When I was out there, I'm in full camo. I actually have like a veil that goes over. It's more for mosquitoes than anything else, but I'm fully decked out in camo. I'm hiding in the bushes. I'm wearing that. Nothing's gonna see me. Other hunters will walk straight by. Hopefully, deer will walk straight by. Nothing's gonna see me. But if I start jogging through the swamp wearing that, I am not going to see anything. Nothing. Everything is going to see me coming and run away. And it's the exact same thing spearfishing. If you're wearing a camo wetsuit and you're diving in the Bahamas in 30 feet and dive bombing hogfish, that ain't going to work. You're going to be silhouetted. And we're, this time of year, an awesome technique is dive down, 20, 30 feet and then look up. Around here, especially in the winter, we might have 100 feet of viz regularly. So that means 100 feet to your left, 100 feet to your right. You have a 200 foot diameter cone visibility, and you look up and you can see kingfish, dolphins, stuff that might be camoed when you're looking straight at it, but because you're looking up at it, it's silhouetted, and they look like black snakes swimming around on the surface. A dolphin is like electric green.
I've got it though. I've got it dialed in.
All right,
I know. I've discovered the new technique for hunting. First of all, you're going to need a rebreather.
Okay.
Because there's no way you're getting the bottom times to make this happen.
Okay.
I'm going full ghillie style suit with like actual sea fans sewed in, actual brain coral helmet.
Nice.
Fully looking like a coral head. I just want to fully built around me, spear gun ready to go, rebreather. I think that's the tactic.
Cressy, you played paintball, right? Did you ever see the neoprene paintball
Do you
mask?
see how tactical I am?
Yeah. Mask covers that were all fringed around the outside?
No.
All right, well, they made those. Cressy makes a mask. I just keep bumping this stuff. Cressy makes a mask it's a mask in the traditional sense of a mask. It is a neoprene thing that goes over your face, covers your snorkel. Only it's like a ski mask that made out of neoprene that's all fringy around the whole thing. So your head looks like a piece of sea lettuce or something.
Do you know what this is called?
I mean, I Google neoprene camo mask, neoprene camo diving mask.
All right, we're gonna
See if we can't throw a little screen capture in this bad boy.
See if we can
But yeah, so they have that. That's out there. That's out there. And to say that it is not effective at all, that's maybe a little disingenuous. If you're doing the style of diving that I personally am doing, I'm more of a aguado kind of.
makes it.
I'm pretty sure it's Cressy. I'm more of an aguado kind of guy. If you're a spedo and you're just laying on the bottom, you're waiting and waiting and waiting. Hawaiians, Greeks, those guys have some crazy bottom times. Not even dive times, bottom times. And if you're wedged up in the corner of a rock, wrapped around a rock, and you're just laying on the bottom waiting, then maybe that camo works. So that's going to be back to that hunting analogy of me being in the water, wrapped, me in a bush, hiding in the bush versus me running through the swamp.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite analogies from when I started working at Florida Freedivers that I picked up from you was the ghillie suit analogy. Like, you can wear a coral head ghillie suit underwater and lay on the bottom and look like a coral head. This wasn't the actual analogy. I'm just referring it to the coral head now. And yeah, fish are probably going to be like, what in the world is this new coral head that just came out of nowhere? But man, when that coral head is swimming at 2 knots across the bottom, trying to catch something, you ain't fooling no one.
I am. So if you
I can't find it.
Oh, well, it's out there. Google it. People of the inner tubes.
The video keeps transitioning back to, that's annoying. Anyway, keep going.
So that's camo in a nutshell. If you are going to wear camo because it looks cool, and I'm the first one to admit it looks cool. If you are going to wear it, please wear bright colored weights on your weight belt. Mm-hmm. The fish ain't going to bust you because you had, a neon green weight on your lower back or 2 neon green weights on your lower back. And that's going to let your dive buddy on the surface be able to see you. Although the fish can still sense you, it definitely breaks up your bottom, your outline against the bottom. It's very effective for that. Even if you're wearing like that green, the Rife Digitech, it was like kind of green and brown, and it's got some blue in there. Yeah, we'll be offshore diving, and it's crystal clear blue water, and that'll break up my dive buddies. And that's a pretty dark suit.
For sure, I find it's not so much the actual color of the camo, right? It's just the shade of whatever you're wearing. Yeah. So the darker colors, you lose them on the surface of the water. Yeah, because the water is naturally going to be pretty dark, even in the Bahamas where it's crystal clear and the sun is shining. Like you lose stuff on the surface.
Yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I've ever told anyone this. So I'm an instructor. I've several hundred students have gone through, and a lot of those, everyone's required to wear a wetsuit. So most people wear black wetsuits, right? But it's a lot of different camos that I've seen come through. The most effective blue water camo that I've seen, where if I'm on the surface and they're making a dive, where they really disappear, is that Torelli blue suit. That
the Universe.
No, not the Universe. The old one.
The old school one.
Yeah, because it was mostly that just kind of navy cobalty blue.
It was a dark blue suit.
It was a dark blue suit, and it matched the color of our water so well that I would lose people so quick with it, and then they would turn around and you could see their palms when they put their hands up to start swimming up and be like, all right, I got them now. But that suit in particular, I know, whenever I had a student wearing that, I knew I just have to dive with them, because there's even on 100-foot crystal clear. And now if it's murky, maybe that changes. Maybe a suit that's got a more elaborate pattern would work better. But for offshore Palm Beach,
on the Gulf Coast, it might be different.
Yeah, exactly. For our off of blue water, 100-foot of viz off of Palm Beach, that Torelli blue suit was insanely effective at making you dive from your dive buddy. I don't know if that's what you want, but it was very good at that.
Yeah, and we've talked about it before. Like we go out of our way to wear bright stuff. Like I wear the blue Digi Camo Florida Freedivers top because I like it. I like the color. I like the pattern. I think it looks cool.
Yeah.
Not because I could care less if it's camo. I just like the way it looks. But on top of that, I'm wearing a hot pink mask strap, like hot pink neoprene mask strap. I don't have one because I already have the pink mask strap, but the bright neon snorkel keepers work really well. The neon snorkel stickers. And then I've got all my weights. Tommy says, what's up? All my weights are either white, yellow, like neon yellow, hot pink, neon green. Like
Yeah.
I've got one of every color just because I like to keep it weird.
Yeah. That neon green pops in the water.
They all do in their own way.
Yeah.
You know, against different backdrops. And that's honestly kind of also why I do all the different colors is against a different backdrop, they all look a little bit different. In different visibility conditions, they all look a little bit different. Some pop more than others.
For sure.
Wait, man, Tommy's saying that a black and gray camo suit would be cool too. Go buy an Omer suit. You ever seen it? Look up Omer Black Moon.
Oh, the Epsilon.
The Epsilon black camo. That was really cool.
That was cool.
There's a company out of Hawaii that makes a black camo, like dark black camo in gray with like a little bit of gold fleck in it. Yeah. That's a really cool suit.
It's like Batman colors, like black, gray, and yellow.
Yeah, it's neat.
Sweet. All right, so that's camo. If you want to be Instagram famous, you got to get camo. If you are going to get camo, buy some bright weights. As far as styles of suits go, there's a reason why freediving suits all look the same.
Kevin's sad.
Sorry,
I'm making fun of him.
Sorry, Kevin. There's a reason why all freediving suits look the same. And the reason why is you don't want to fight the stretch on your wetsuit. You want the wetsuit to be as stretchy as possible. You don't want to burn any oxygen fighting the stretch. The thicker a wetsuit is, the more resistance it's going to have. A 3 mil is going to be stretchier than a 5 mil, period. Right?
For sure.
So
that's why I wear a 1.5.
Yeah, exactly. And a 1.5 is going to be even...
It's twice as stretchy as a 3 mil.
Exactly. Exactly. So what can we do to make the wetsuit as efficient as possible so we don't have to wear a 5? So we can back it down to a 3 or back it down to a 1.5. What makes a wetsuit efficient? And it's when you jump in the water, you get wet in the wetsuit. So you jump in, the water is going to flood into that wetsuit, and your body only has to warm that water that's inside of the wetsuit. It doesn't have to warm the whole ocean. And you want to keep that warm water in there. The more that water, the warm water escapes, cold water comes back in. They call that flushing. The more your wetsuit flushes, the less efficient it's going to be. And so that's why all freediving wetsuits kind of look the same. They all have a hood. You lose a ton of heat through your head. A ton of heat through your head. If you're ever diving in California or somewhere where it's really cold, it looks like you can see the heat actually radiating off of people's heads. It's
in the water?
Yeah, it's like you ever look at a hot road on a summer day and it's like that shimmery kind of. Yeah. It'll look like that.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Yeah, it's freaking wild because it's 98 degrees, in 68 degree water. It's a crazy 30 degree temperature change. So they have the hoods on. If you do wear your hood, even in the winter, there's some days where I'll throw the hood up. I just get cold. But most of the time I'm wearing the hood down. It doesn't really bother me as far as hydrodynamics go or anything like that. But when you throw your hood up, take a pen or a Sharpie and mark your ear canal, like that hole where your ear is. And then take it off. That's a key part to this. Taking it off. And then heat up a paper clip and cauterize a little hole where your marks were. And that's going to make equalizing the hood a lot easier. I see people they'll always be popping their hood, stuff like that. And you don't want to just poke the hole. You have to kind of cauterize it, or otherwise that foam, that neoprene foam, will just suck back down on it. So you also see 2-part wetsuits. They're pretty much exclusively pants and a jacket. One, it adds a lot more versatility to it. So come January, you best believe I'm hood up, jacket and pants. I'm the full 9. Gloves. socks, like I'm 3 mil bundled. You know, let's not call it over the top, but 3 mil bundled. April, I'm just the top. Even in the Bahamas, I'm still probably wearing just the top. And maybe even through May, just because I like to stay warm. The warmer I am, the better I can hold my breath.
Yeah.
You're just cozier.
This year was like one of the first years that all through the summer, I mean through July, August, all that, I wore the 1.5 top
Yeah.
everywhere.
It's nice, man. It's freaking nice, especially if you're diving around here and you're using a spear gun. You have that built-in loading pad. You know, you can get a rash guard with a loading pad. That's awesome. The Ballast rash guard has a fat loading pad on it. It's probably the best loading pad of any rash guard. But every once in a while, you're gonna load that gun. And it's gonna be in your belly. It's not gonna be on the rash guard. With the wetsuit, at least you get a little bit of neoprene, everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've gotten to the point almost where wearing the wetsuit jacket at least, especially with the 1.5, because that's just become what I'm the most used to, what I like the most. It's almost like a security blanket. Like, it's because freediving, as we know, is a very mental sport, right?
For sure.
In addition, when you add in the spearfishing aspect to it, adds a whole nother mental aspect to it as well. Now you're introducing like adrenaline and all kinds of, you know, different environmental factors as well. So to me, anything that's like mentally driven, I need like a process that I follow every single time. And since I've gotten more into like technical freediving, like having that wetsuit has become part of my process. And I feel when I get in the water without it now, I feel like my process is thrown off. Like I cannot dive as comfortably without it now.
So what's crazy about that is not only are you absolutely right that the patterns and stuff like that make a huge difference. If you ever see a baseball player before they get into the box, they're like adjusting each glove. Or Rafael Nadal, if you watch tennis, he like messes with his headband and picks his wedgie every time. I don't know if he's rocking wedgies every time. I doubt it. It's just when he's going for a serve, it's like 2 bounces, wedgie pick, 2 more bounces, and it's a serve every single time. It's crazy. So there's definitely Tommy would actually, I guarantee you, Tommy's gotten in like the sports psychology side of routines. There's absolutely something to that. But even more so than that, it helps you kick in your MDR, your mammalian diving reflex. It helps your body prepare for a dive. Guys that are doing it professionally, they eat the same breakfast every day. I try to eat oatmeal because I know that I can cook it in the Bahamas. So oatmeal, I eat oatmeal, my body's starting to know. Errol, who's a phenomenal dive instructor. I really, really, really like him, respect him. He's maybe our first guest on the podcast.
I think he was, yeah.
Yeah, so an excellent, excellent guy.
Good episode too. Go check it out.
Yeah, he packs his dive bag the same exact way every time. So takes it out and puts on his gear the exact same way every time. It helps him trigger that mammalian diving reflex. So let his body like get into that rhythm. Let it know like, hey, we're about to go diving. Like this is what we're doing. There's definitely something to that.
Nice. So getting back into like wintertime diving, aside from like obviously probably stepping up to a little bit thicker wetsuit and putting on a full wetsuit and Tommy's talking all about he's talking about the rituals and stuff. Aside from putting on a thicker wetsuit and putting on a full wetsuit, some of the other things that I'm getting more into gear wise during the winter is I'm probably going to be making sure that my gun itself is, you know, dialed in. During the summertime, she gets a little neglected sometimes. We're in the Bahamas a lot. I'm really focusing on like our slings. Like, you know, this year we even built the Cat 5 slings with Florida Freedivers, and we put a lot of time and testing and effort into that thing. And I don't think I shot my spear gun more than a handful of times the entire summer. So as we get into winter, I'm putting new bands on. I'm putting, you know, re-rigging my stuff, looking at my shafts, making sure all my stuff is, you know, not bent. Getting new shafts if I need to. Kind of, I mean, sometimes I get a little overboard. Like we were going to go to Louisiana, and that trip ended up not panning out because of weather reasons. But right before the trip, man, I literally disassembled my entire wooden gun. Like took all the parts off of it, trigger mech out, like rollers out, took the roller pin, the roller axles out. Like it was a little overboard, but that's how I am sometimes. But just make sure like that gun that's been sitting for a little bit is ready to go. You know, bands, especially spear gun bands, don't last forever, man. When they sit in the garage for an entire summer, they're probably toast.
It's a natural product. It has a shelf life.
Yeah.
You know, the newer band material is going to perform much better than older band material. It's gonna be a little bit harder to load, but you're gonna get a lot more pop out of it. Before we move on, I just want to circle back to wetsuits real quick.
Okay, sorry.
No worries. Closed cell versus open cell.
Good point.
I just want to touch on that before we just skip.
Yeah, you were talking about flushing.
Yeah, so water flushing, that closed cell, it's gummy, so it's gonna sit much closer to your skin. It's gonna make you have less water in there, so your body doesn't have to warm as much water. It's also considerably more stretchy. It is much more stretchy. You do have to use some sort of lubricant to get into it. There's Shark Snot, which is a manufacturer that makes very expensive, but
Suave is a good
organic wetsuit lube. Mako makes Suit Slide, which is like I'm pretty sure it's just hair conditioner and solution.
There's another one, Garnier Fructis, I believe.
There's this brand VO5 that I really like. They sell it at the gas station across the street from the pool that I teach at, and it's anti-frizz. So you got that going for you.
Nice.
You know?
So the pits are just looking
just
like
fresh.
golden locks.
It could be a Pantene Pro V commercial in the pit.
It's like waving around in the breeze.
But yeah, so hair conditioner works really good. I've gotten to the point now where I even hair condition my closed cell suits because it makes just getting them on and off so much easier. There's no more like wrestling to get it on or struggling to get your foot through. I see people like use trash bags, stuff like that. That hair conditioner, it's not only to get it on and off, it goes to the performance of the suit. If you use shampoo or soap or something like that, eventually that's going to flush out because there's going to be minimal flushing in your wetsuit.
Yeah.
Eventually that'll flush out and you'll actually feel that wetsuit starting to get tight. I can turn my wrist inside of my wetsuit sleeve when it's lubed up the way that it should be. It is crazy how lubed up it is.
Yeah, you can like move your whole body and the suit stays in one spot.
Yeah, it's weird if you're sitting on a rocking boat though, because all of a sudden the boat will rock and you're like way over here, but your wetsuit's still.
What was I gonna say? I had something I was gonna say regarding that, but carry on.
Nice. Yeah. So open cell's the ticket. Open cell's the ticket.
What I was gonna say is, as far as open versus closed cell, like you were saying, you use conditioner to put the closed cell suits on. Still, closed cell suits are only easy to put on when they're like perfectly dry. If they're moist, they're just as hard to put on as a dry closed cell suit or open cell suit. Sorry.
Yeah.
They ain't that easy to put on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not even that it's easier to. That's the reason why you don't have to lubricate it isn't to make it easier. It's just that you don't have to worry about ripping it, you know? And even that, I had an open cell suit, spearfishing open cell suit that was like a green camo, let's say, with orange on the inside.
Closed cell suit.
Closed cell suit. And from putting it on and off dry a bunch of times, I wound up ripping all the seams on it.
That particular suit has very tight seams to start with.
As a tight suit. Like, I ain't got no crazy calves, but that went from green camo to white camo, around my calves. All right, so that's wetsuits. Check. Guns. Now you're on to guns. So, can you still use your sling and pole spear out here? Absolutely. Especially if you're going for cobia. You're trying to shoot cobia off of turtles, rays, maybe sharks. You definitely can use a sling or a pole spear.
For sure, you can. I mean, especially a pole spear.
Yeah.
I think the current pole spear world record cobia was shot in Key West. So, what was that going to show you?
There you go. It's possible.
Make it happen.
And a lot of diving that I do in the winter, if it's nasty out, which it's going to be nasty some days, I do a lot of intercoastal diving. Shooting sheep's head, there's mutton snapper, mangrove snapper, all under the docks, stuff like that. That is some of the most fun you'll have. Little kudas. I'm all about that stuff. People are like, oh, you shoot kudas? Whenever I'll like cook a bunch of fish, people are like, oh, what kind of fish is this? It's fresh, dude. Don't worry about it. It's fresh fish. Yeah, I love that. I love hunting in the intercoastal, man. I think that's freaking so much fun. A little tide dependent, you know.
I was talking to somebody about barracuda the other day, about barracudas in Ciguatera. I think it might have been Kevin actually. Anyway, I don't know. Like I've heard a lot of Ciguatera stories, myself included. I've had Ciguatera twice. I don't know anybody that's ever gotten it from barracuda.
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah. I know like a handful of Bahamians that have.
Yeah. And so I'm not saying it can't happen.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people that eat barracuda here and that it's fine, including big barracudas.
You know, I don't want to say every spearfishman from Miami, but a lot of spearfishmen from Miami eat a lot of barracuda.
Yeah.
And more power. It is delicious. It's
good.
so good.
It's definitely good.
It smells so bad.
Horrible.
When I see somebody coming in with a pneumatic gun that needs to get like their line changed or something in the shop, I'm like, oh God. Because I know it is just going to stink.
What
like
you do
barracuda.
is you go, Eric, workshop.
Yeah, they're like, what I do is, hablo español, uno momento. Eric, come here.
Enrique. Quique.
Exactly.
Vámonos.
Exactly. When Matt was in the shop, it was the best. We had this guy, Matt, who has like a Spanish look to him. You know, he's like real dark olively skin, black hair. And he can't speak a lick of Spanish. I can speak Spanish better than him, and that's saying something because I can't speak Spanish. And people come in and be like, oh, you know, like, solamente hablo español. I'm like, oh, no es problema. Matt. And I get Matt to come out, and Matt can't speak Spanish at all, and he's the nicest guy ever. So he tried to be like, explaining to him, like, I'm sorry, sir, I can't speak Spanish. And because I told them that Matt can speak Spanish, they're just talking to him. They're not taking like whatever, because they don't really understand what Matt's saying.
Yeah.
Right? Because they only speak Spanish. And Matt definitely doesn't understand what they're saying. So they just keep going. I don't know. It's the little things in life that
I get the same thing, dog. You do the same thing to me.
I know, it's hilarious.
Because
It's hilarious. For me. For me, it's funny.
Everyone thinks I speak Spanish.
Sí, claro. Claro que sí, hermano. My brother. Everyone in my family pretty much can speak perfect Spanish except for me.
There you go. Well, look at you. I mean, it's just comes down to brain cells, right?
Apparently.
Where's all the good genes in that family?
I feel like it's the twin. You know, you ever seen the movie Twins with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No.
I'm Danny DeVito. Look it up.
Nice.
All right. So guns. You're probably gonna need a spear gun. What spear gun should you get for off of Palm Beach, Southeast Florida? A 90 to a 120. That is the range.
Preferably a roller. Preferably a Rob Allen.
If you're gonna get a Rob Allen roller, you don't need the 120.
In the wintertime, probably not.
You
It's
can
more
get
of a
you can get
summertime gun.
you can get a 120.
High vis.
You can get a 120.
The 120 roller
It'll send it.
excels in open reef, blue water, that kind of thing. That is a powerful gun.
I like the 100.
The 100 is a really good size range for
You
the
get
rollers.
a ton of range. You're
Especially-
getting that double wrapper range.
Especially in wintertime when our visibility is generally not quite there. It's not like it is in the summertime. Not always.
Man, I almost think it's better in the winter.
You think so?
And here's why.
Maybe just every time I've dove, it's worse.
Yeah. So they never dumped a lake in the winter. So
that's true.
there's that. And in the summer, obviously a ton of sun. So you get a lot of like just plankton, stuff like that, and
Algae
a lot of seaweed coming from the Bahamas. So you get a lot of that like sargassum that grows in the Bahamas. You get those like sargassum forests, and that breaks off and makes sargassum weed, and it drifts over. And sometimes when it's over here, you get the big weed lines, great, but sometimes it's all turned up and freaking nasty. I feel like in the winter it's rougher, but the water's clear.
Okay.
And have I backed that up with any kind of science? Nope.
I think the only reason that the visibility can get worse in the winter is because it's generally rougher.
It's definitely rougher.
Generally going to get more turned up. Because when it's rough in the winter, it's freaking rough, man. It's not like...
No, and if you're diving the reefs, the wintertime's worse because it's gonna get turned up. It's just gonna have a lot of sand in the water.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not
after
like
a big
a
swell, forget it.
Yeah, and it's not even like a lot of swell. I mean, you definitely get more swell in the wintertime, but you get like a lot of chop too, like big chop.
And they dredge the beaches in the winter. You get a beach dredge going and it turns the whole thing to milk. It's real weird.
One of the worst days of diving I've ever had.
Ooh, with Clara? That was real bad.
That was pretty bad.
That was real bad.
That was really bad. But no, worse day than that. And it was just because of like gear and conditions, like everything added up to just a really bad hypothermic day. It was when I was in high school. The first wetsuit I ever bought was a back zip closed cell 1.5 Mako wetsuit with a busted zipper on the back. I bought it used from a guy off of Spearboard. And I bought it because I was like, it's wintertime. Like my buddies were like, it was kind of right when I was starting to get into diving this area more. And you know, the group of guys I was going with were like pretty hardcore guys. So it's like, I need a wetsuit. Like these guys don't want to go when it's like cold, and I want to go. Like I want to get into this. And so I bought that thing. We go out. We're in like a 17-foot Scout. So it's in the middle of winter. It's like 40 degrees out, blowing like 25 knots, and we're going out the inlet, just constant spray. And I'm wearing a 1.5 closed cell. There's no sun out. We get out the inlet and it is chocolate milk brown. I mean, like blackout viz, not zero viz, blackout viz. Like 5 feet under the surface is blacked out. And we're driving along the beach and it still looks exactly the same. We see a school of probably 50 cobia on the surface. You could see them just like fins coming out of the water, and they're literally like looking like tilapia up on the surface, like sucking down little fish wafers or whatever you feed tilapia. And so we're like, shit, we're getting in. We got to get in. Like this water is disgusting, but we got to make it happen. So we drive like in front of where they're moving, jump in, and immediately just the coldest water ever in Florida goes straight down my non-existent zipper. Like balloons my suit out so I can't swim. It's just like swimming into an empty cone. Right? And couldn't see anything. Long story short, we didn't shoot anything or see anything. Got back on the boat and just froze the rest of the day. I thought I was gonna die. Nice. I was so cold.
Nice. That's good. Speaking of being cold,
so that's like what I associate wintertime diving with.
That's good. You know, you set low expectations, you're never disappointed.
There you go.
Speaking of being cold though, cold fronts when it's that nasty out, diving the springs is an awesome choice, man. I'm surprised that more people don't do that. It's such a good like getaway with buddies. You get 4 or 5 buddies together, you'll camp out at Jenny Springs and dive the springs, sit around a campfire, drink beers that night. It's so much freaking fun.
And there's so many springs to go to too.
Oh my god, it's crazy.
Jenny Springs is a popular one.
Yeah, but how many Blue Springs? You ever been to Blue Springs? There's like
I've been
seven.
to the Blue Springs. Yes,
7 Blue Springs. It's crazy.
The Blue Spring.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been to the popular one, the most popular one, because that's probably one of the best springs to freedive at. At least that's pretty close as well.
What's the one right off to St. John? The blue, is that the one you're talking about? What's the one that's right off of the St. John?
You're thinking of like the Ishnatukney one? The Blue Hole?
Maybe it's the Blue Hole. I don't know. Blue something.
It's blue.
We always call it Blue Spring.
Water's blue.
Water's blue, that's for sure.
No, the one I'm talking about is right outside of Orlando. It's in Florida City, I think, is the town there. And it's like, that's the one that it's got like a log across the opening. It's kind of like a long cave. It's like 120 foot, pretty much straight down. It's pretty cool cave. Nice. But be careful, man. Springs diving is a lot of fun. It's really cool. It's gorgeous. The springs are amazing. I absolutely love the springs. I've been going since I was a little kid. And they're gorgeous, man. Ever since the first time I went to one, I was like addicted to seeing that clear fresh water. It's unreal. But don't get yourself in overhead environments that you're not trained to handle. Free diving and overhead environments do not mix.
No.
Scuba diving and overhead environments don't mix, but there is training available for those who want to kill themselves.
Henry.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't remember what the exact saying is, but say like a good cave diver is a dead cave diver or something like that. Like all cave divers end up dead at some point.
Yeah.
So don't get yourself in situations, and it's very easy to do because everything looks tempting to swim into. But know what you're getting into. You know, I would suggest whatever spring that you're going to, go there with somebody who's dove there before. So you know the way, know where to go, where you can't go, because you can get in a lot of trouble. A lot of people have died in springs. Be careful.
Be careful. Be careful.
Don't be an idiot is what I'm trying to say.
General rule of thumb is I don't like to bring a flashlight. If you need a flashlight, you're in too deep. Get out of it. All right. So yeah, springs. Just camping with buddies. The whole experience of the springs.
It's a fun time, man.
It's a fun time. If it's just the springs, I'm like a little bit lukewarm on diving just the springs. But when you add in like the whole social experience, like the whole day, is fun as hell. It's fun as hell. But it's at hanging out with buddies, diving in the winter, camping, campfires, maybe a beer or two here and there. It's a lot of fun.
I went on a trip with Jonathan, one of the owners of Florida Freedivers, and Matt from Teach Me to Freedive. I guess it was almost 2 years ago now. We went to go like look at some potential places to teach courses in the wintertime in the springs because it's a controlled environment. Has a lot of springs have like a decent amount of depth that you can get down to, so on and so forth. And a cold front like had just come through, so the entire time we're up there, it's like in the 30s, in the 30s at night, and like highs in the 40s in the day. You know, so it was like it was freaking cold, dude. And we had those SMT jackets, the Shivery Timbers jackets from Florida Freedivers. Those things were a lifesaver. But we basically like suit up. You're freezing cold just from getting out of the car and taking your clothes off and putting a wetsuit on wet with conditioner. And run down to the springs. You get in the springs and it's 72 degrees, which is like cold compared to what I'm diving in the ocean most of the year. But compared to 40 degrees outside the water, it was like going into a bathtub, and it was amazing. So even when the weather's freezing outside, you can go to the springs and still dive pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
Now when you get out, that's a whole different story. But being in the water, even 72 degree water in the springs feels like super warm in the winter. It's awesome.
Man. Nice. All right. Circle back to spear guns.
Yeah.
Why not?
Hit me. What you got?
You a real guy or you a float line guy?
I mean, generally real, yes, but I've come around more to float lines over the past,
I'd even say this summer, man. You've been rocking the float line.
I have a few times. I don't use it on the gun all that much. We talked about it before when I did a trip to Andros this summer, and I used a float line on a pole spear over there, and it's effective, man. It works really well. Especially like in the Bahamas, we're not doing drift dives like we're doing here. I'm in the water for an hour at a time, a lot of times more than that.
Yeah.
And you don't notice it. It doesn't bother you. It stays out behind you. I'm not getting in and out of the boat, so it doesn't matter. I'm not like bringing it in and put it back out like you do here. So over there, it was definitely good. I'll use it here, especially if we're targeting wahoo, that kind of thing. It's got its advantages. So there's some Fortnite being played on the
in the background.
It definitely has its advantages for that kind of thing. Being able to shoot a full breakaway is a huge advantage for landing softer bodied fish, bigger fish, pelagics, that kind of thing.
If I'm using a float line, I'm using a breakaway. I just hate seeing my beloved gun disappear attached to the beast.
God, I watched a video. Who was it? It was a friend of mine out in Barbados. Her name's Hannah. She runs a freediving school out there. There's a video of her shooting a permit, like with a float line inline float line, not breakaway. And she shoots this permit in like a big reef, like canyon. It's all like finger reef. shoots the thing, it does a 180, and just goes straight through the reef canyons, like disappears. And you see the gun, it was a little Rob Allen, you see the gun just go whoosh, straight into the reef canyons and gone. Like, it's on a float line, obviously.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was on a float line. It might not have been. It might have just
And we're going
been.
to say that she wasn't in Barbados at the time. Because guns are illegal in Barbados. So.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. Or
Well,
no, I'm thinking of Bermuda.
You're thinking of Bermuda.
I'm thinking of Bermuda.
She was in Barbados at the time.
Nice. My bad.
But anyway, it's just that like feeling of watching, like when I watched that video, I was like, ugh, like watching the gun disappear.
For sure. Forget it. So breakaway, and the breakaway is so simple, man. Before I like knew what breakaway was, I had a Rob Allen, I had the clip on the handle, and I'm like, all right, it's super simple. You just put the clip there and whatever. I think it's easier to deal with when you're swimming around. I think it's easier to deal with once you shot the fish. It's just as easy, if not easier, to load the gun. I like it a lot. I prefer float lines. I like float lines. If I'm diving off Palm Beach, I'm using a reel. And that's just the way the current.
That's a good statement. I think I agree with that. I think I do actually prefer the float line, but they just don't work well here.
Yeah.
For reef diving.
Let's say you're diving the MG. That's like 100-foot wreck. You might have 3 dives on that thing. Maybe 3 dives. Maybe 3 dives, because
sometimes it's 1.
And sometimes it's 1 because the current's pushing you so hard. You know, like you get off the boat. I'm literally doing my breathe up on the boat. The boat sets, and you get in and you get one more like, and then you just gotta freaking make your dive and go for it. It's not, you can't see it or anything, and you better hope the guy that's driving puts you on the right spot, because you're only gonna get one or two shots before you gotta jump back in the boat and reset. The current's
do it again.
The current's ripping.
And from that aspect, the float line just
it's a huge pain in the ass for that.
Let's see what everyone's saying about float lines. Breakaway float line setup.
Yeah,
is what they're saying. Kevin says the Hex suit is the warmest suit ever because the technology that blocks your electromagnetic signals also retains more heat. Energy equals heat.
Heat is a form of energy. He's not wrong.
It's the law of conservation of energy.
We got to think, how do they do it? They wrap it in tinfoil. You're basically a baked potato in that thing.
There you go.
That's pretty toasty.
There you go.
Although
not only are you getting blocked from RFDs, getting put all your credit cards inside your Hex suit.
Ooh, that's true.
Hex wallets coming at you soon, right after the knife drop.
Yeah, the hoax suit, man, it's freaking a killer. So, all right, reels, lines. If you're diving this winter, you need a flasher.
Yes. Preferably, there's a ton of flashers out there.
Merc Crew flasher. I like that one a lot.
One that we've been trying to get in the shop for a while.
If anybody, Freddie, anybody from Merc Crew, email me, rodman@floaterfreedivers.com. I want to carry your freaking flashers. I can't say that enough. Sell them to me.
Fred, hit them up.
I am. All right, so those flashers are freaking awesome. I think they'd sell really well.
They are a great flasher. If you can't get your hands on one for whatever reason.
Well, what do you look for in a flasher? I don't want to cut you off because I don't want to like, hey, here's how you DIY their flasher. What do you look for in a flasher?
That's not what I was going to say.
Nice. I like it. I just wanted to make sure, because if I had a company and someone was like, hey, you can build this exact same thing.
No. What I was going to say is I also really like the JBL flasher. And the reason for that is because it incorporates a lot of the things that I like to see in a flasher. One being they're a small size.
Yes, that is key.
And they have eyeballs on them. And they're plastic flashers and not metal.
Why do you like the plastic over the metal?
Plastic? Thank you for asking, Rodman.
Yeah.
The plastic, or most of the time it's like acrylic or something like that, is more neutrally buoyant than metal is. And I feel like it has better action in the water. I think it kind of like flutters a little bit nicer.
That makes sense. And you don't need as big of a float. So on the that JBL flashes, are you talking about the capsule?
Yeah,
if you will.
Yeah.
That is an awesome system. It takes up no room in your dive bag.
The JBL Superfly.
Before I got a hold of like the Rob Allen or the JBL, it's like a PVC capsule basically, and it's all self-contained. That capsule becomes the float. I was used to people's flashers, and they were the size of like a a desktop tower, you know, like it was they're like these massive setups, you know.
So you've seen the one that I have that I made. That's the ballyhoo dredge streamers.
That thing though
That thing
is
has
maybe
it,
the
has
best
its perks.
maybe the best flasher I've ever seen.
That thing has its perks. When I first made it, I had it wrapped up on one of those bulk mono spools. The wood
That might have been overkill.
the wood bulk mono spool. It's like this big around.
That was probably overkill.
It was overkill for
Yeah,
sure.
I am. But those things pare down to literally that big. It's crazy, and they take up no space on. People rock them on their belts, like that blew my mind when I first saw them. And you gotta have a flasher. When I first got into flashers, I was only making my own, and I'd kind of general idea of what I wanted. I Googled up some images of them, but it was basically like marlin lures on a rope. You know, it was all kind of homemade, but it's big CDs and like a marlin lure hanging on the bottom.
The key was super gluing CDs back to back.
Yeah, I am.
My mom just sent me. She was cleaning out her garage. She sent me a picture of one that I had from high school. It's like black polypropylene rope with like 100 CDs on it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, did those things work? They actually kind of worked a little bit.
Yeah, the CDs get. I don't know if you've used the CD flasher, you know what I'm talking about. It's like searchlights like flying through the water everywhere.
Yeah.
Every like reflection is like a directional beam.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
So, but they're not. I started. As soon as you try to quantify what is an effective flasher and what's not, you set a baseline. What do I want out of my flasher?
Yeah.
Do I want a fish to like notice that it's in the water? Well, yeah, CDs will work for that. A fish will notice it's in the water. Can you do better? Absolutely. How do you do better? One or two big things, I don't mind having that. The headhunter makes a flasher. It's like a mirror the size of my hand. It's maybe like an 8-inch by 2.5-inch mirror. Like it's a pretty fat mirror. It's all these big paddles. So one or two of those mirrors, their flashers only those mirrors. So in my opinion, it's not a great flasher because it's too many big pieces. One or two of those to bring them in from a distance, but you want them to think that it's like a tight school of bait. What are they eating? You know, they call it like matching the hatch. They're eating like smaller stuff. You want them, or even if it's not matching the hatch, you want them to not know what the fuck it is, not know what it is.
Yeah.
They can tell like, oh, that's, I don't know what a CD is, but that's clearly not food. They can tell that from like, 10, 15 feet away, and then they're going to swim away. If you have something small, they have to like swim up to it to tell what it is.
And a lot of times you'll find fish actually like bite them.
Yeah.
Because they're like, can't quite tell. This might be edible.
Yeah. File fish, especially. People that have like mono, like flasher line. I'm always worried that a freaking file fish is gonna nip it off. You know, those things are always nibbling on your flasher.
Dude, the ballyhoo like streamer one that I have, that thing is pretty much toast because the file fish are just eating the plastic away, like eating the streamers away, one like bite at a time.
Yeah.
If you look at them, it looks like they've been sitting in the garage with like roaches eating on them.
Yeah.
It's like looking like your Cressy Big Eye mask. Got that Cressy frill edge.
That's a serrated seal. All right, that's a feature, not a bug.
It seals against wrinkles. Is that what it does?
Hey man, I'm about to be 32. So seals against my wrinkles.
Kevin makes a good point that he uses different flashers for different types of hunting. He says he'll run the JBL flashers on the reef and the Merc Crew flashers for the blue water. That's a good point. And one thing that I think makes that Merc Crew flashers such a good setup is because it's so versatile. It's good in blue water. It's good on the reef as well. But what's nice about it is that it incorporates both of those things that you were just talking about. It's got a big, flashy, attention-getting ball on it, in that it's got like that mylar material, right?
Yeah.
And even though that's big and flashy, it looks like something's
a
going
really
on.
tight school of fish.
It looks like a tight bait ball.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, it's got the small plastic flasher, like fish-shaped flashers with eyeballs on them that whole thing is designed to get a fish's attention from a distance and also keep them interested in it up close.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
If it's me, let's say I'm running 2 different flashers, I'm gonna run the Merc Crew flasher and maybe some throw flashers out in the ocean. And if I'm on the reef, I'm pretty much only rocking the throw flashers.
flasher.
I used to do them both, in both ways. The resetting, it comes back to like the float. Resetting on the reef, I'm typically resetting a fair bit. Dealing with the flasher wound up being maybe more of a pain in the ass than it was worth, depending on where I am. If
I just thought of a new product.
If I'm like West End,
retractable flasher.
ooh, you're onto something there.
Auto retractor.
Auto retract. That throw flashers, the Kevin Mahaffey specials.
Yep.
They those things work dynamite on the reef. They're insane on the reef. So it's basically like a pipe with holographic vinyl on the outside, and it just like falling leaves down. And I've seen it's not that it gets the attention of some fish; it gets the attention of every fish. Like the tropicals will rush out to it. Everything rushes out to it.
It's crazy. The whole reef comes up to that thing.
The
dude.
whole reef.
It's wild.
It is it's a game changer.
It
completely changed the way that I dive.
If 2 people dive at the same time and one guy drops a throw flasher and the other guy doesn't, the other guy's going to be wondering where the heck all the fish are.
Yeah.
It will be like barren wasteland. Yeah. It's insane.
And you can just tuck those in your belt. They're super easy. When I'm doing my breathe up, I'm just doing my breathe up. I'll take one out of my belt. I'll huck it. And then I'll do my dive. I'll dive. I'm not going to dive like right straight down on it. I'll dive and then swim kind of over to it. And as I'm swimming over to it, the things sink depending on how you set it up, they sink pretty slow. And I'm getting over there near when it's hitting the bottom. I want it to hit the bottom maybe 10 seconds after, or 10 seconds before I get to it.
Yeah.
And that's worked pretty dang good for me. I've had pretty good results with that.
What else you got on that list over there?
We've covered it.
Covered it?
We're
coming up. We're right at just under an hour, so.
Nice.
I don't know how well we covered anything for winter particularly.
You need a wetsuit. Get a wetsuit, dive to springs, use a reel or float line, and you're going to need some flashers.
There you go.
So do that. If you guys want to go on a winter trip, we are planning a golf trip, and maybe a tuna trip is in the works. If I can get Eric to make some phone calls.
Working. I just got to charge my phone.
You want to shoot a tuna? Leave a comment. Reach out to us on Instagram. Reach out to us on Facebook. Reach out to us on the YouTube comment section. Let's go shoot tuna.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, checking out this episode. Once again, thank you to our sponsors, Ballast Freediving, Florida Freedivers, and Teach Me to Freedive. Thank you to the guys watching and leaving comments. It's always fun to interact with you guys. All 3 of our commenters.
Yeah, boy.
Kevin's talking all about flashers. Read those comments, man. Kevin's got some good info. He's the creator, maybe not the creator, but he makes a pretty fire crack pipe flasher.
That boulder crack.
There you go. But yeah, thanks again for watching. We will see you in the next one.